think it's time for an author breakdown series. And first one up is going to be Riley Sager. Let's get started. Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Zach with Zacks Books, and today I've got for you a author video breakdown. And the first author I'm going to start with in this little series I'm going to have is Riley Sager. It's no surprise I liked Home Before Dark a lot, and he had 3 other published novels, and I figured I'd give those a read, let you know my thoughts in like a little vlog here, and then do pretty much a ranking breakdown at the very end and let you know which ones I thought were best, which ones were not good, and just rank them. So the 4 books that are on here are going to be linked down below, as well as my Goodreads, so don't forget to check that out. Alright, so I'm going to be reading these in reverse publication order. So I'm going to be reading them backwards, starting with his newest stuff, going to his oldest stuff. The first one I have already read is Home Before Dark. I believe I got it. It's going to be in my Goodreads, link down below, like I said. But yeah, this one was really good, and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I've talked about this quite a bit. But it's a really good book. Really enjoyed it. Highly recommend it. Gave it a 5-star rating. And let me show you the next one. The first one I'm going to be reading for you in this vlog is Lock Every Door. My wife read this, she really liked it, and so I knew I had to get it and obviously read it for this video for you guys, and I'm pretty anxious to read it, and I've heard good things about it. My wife really talked about it, and I think she put it in her Goodreads as well, so that'll be linked down below as well. But yeah, otherwise I don't know a whole lot more about this. I just know it's about like this creepy house. I think it's called the Bartholomew, and this girl goes there and like lives there for like rent or something like that. She gets paid to live in this house with people, and that sounds pretty cool. So yeah, that's Lock Every Door. The second one I'm going to read for you is The Last Time I Lied. This one is another one that I don't know a whole lot about. I think it's about a girl at a camp, and some weird stuff happens. Girls go missing, and she was like really close to them, and she gets invited back if like 15 years later, and like the same thing happened. So it's like, pretty mysterious. You're here, and 6 girls have gone missing in a span of 15 years. So I think that sounds pretty cool. Gonna figure out what happened. So that's The Last Time I Lied. And the last one I'm going to read for you guys is Final Girls. Kind of fitting, with it being the final one I'm going to read for you, being called Final Girls. I believe this is about a group, like 3 girls who survive tragedies, and one of them ends up being killed, and the other 2, so like what the second one of them seeks out the other one, and like they call themselves Final Girls because like they're the final ones who survive like a tragedy. And so the second one befriends the third one, and a whole bunch of weird stuff starts happening to both of them. But otherwise, that's all I know about this one, and we're gonna do this one third. Final Girls. Alright guys, I'm on page 91 of Lock Every Door. It's been pretty straightforward so far. Girl gets a job being like a temp tenant at this place. Her name is Jules at the Bartholomew, and it's been pretty straightforward. It's been good so far. Some things in the past chapter or 2 have been starting to get a little eerie. One of her friends that she just made, named Ingrid, was weird on the previous night of the chapter I'm on. Jules had heard a scream and went to investigate, and Ingrid was like, yeah, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And she's like, oh, it must have been on your TV. And she's like, I wasn't watching TV. So pretty weird. Then they did like a flashback or a flash forward to now, and she is being examined by a doctor, and the doctor's like, yeah, the report said you just ran out into traffic from the building and like no hesitation at all, just ran right into oncoming traffic. And Jules' response was, yeah, I was escaping. And it's like, whoa. So, pretty interesting stuff. And I'm going to keep on going with this because I'm intrigued to see where it goes. So we'll see you guys in the next one. I'm on page 146 of Lock Every Door, and Ingrid has gone missing. Jules' friend who earlier had that weird like scream in the middle of the night. The next day she moves out. And so Jules went to go talk to this lady who wrote a book, who's also staying at the Bartholomew, and she pretty much was of little help. She pretty much was telling her, yeah, she came and was asking me about this place, and I told her about it, and that was pretty much the conversation they had, and Ingrid didn't really have anything else to really say. And then Jules went to go talk to Nick, which is the doctor of the Bartholomew. His father or his grandfather, I think, is the actual owner of the place, or like was the owner, and he actually committed suicide. He jumped off the top of the building and killed himself. And Nick was like, oh, well, she should have came to me because she's going to get told false information, which leads me to believe I think Nick is going to be a sketchy character. I feel like they're getting, Jules and him are getting along too well, and I feel like that's always usually a twist. So my prediction is Nick is not going to be a good guy. I feel like he's going to be a bad guy, and I don't know, it's just how I feel. I feel like Nick's going to be an issue with this. Otherwise, Ingrid is still, she's gone. I still got a fair amount left. I'm a little under halfway. I'm also anxious to find out why Ingrid needed to buy a gun. She bought a gun, and Zeke, I think was the guy's name. That's like her dealer. He had to go through someone else to get the gun, but he's the drug guy for her. And so I'm anxious to see how this continues. I'm intrigued with it so far. Alright, so I'm on page 217, and Jules has just made a shocking discovery that the girl who was living in her room before her apparently dropped her phone in a vent cover, which earlier a guy named Charlie, who helped Jules out a lot so far in the book, said that a lot of people drop crap in the vents and phones on the occasion if the angle's just right. And the girl's name is Erica Mitchell, and earlier she saw a sign that said missing, and it said her name. Well, she just found her phone in the vent in her room, which was the same girl who had the room before her. And so now I feel like things are going to start kind of clicking for her. That I don't think the place is haunted. I think the people that live there are messed up. So yeah, Jules and Nick ended up having sex after she went to go investigate the other girl's room who went missing. But she goes into her room and finds a book by this author that's signed for her, not for Jules, for the other girl. And she is like, oh, that's weird, because the author who she's talking to is the same author, and she said, I don't remember this girl. I've never really encountered her before. Well, she's got a signed book from her, so I'm starting to think a lot of things are iffy with this house. And so I'm excited to see where it goes from here. Alright, I'm on page 245, and I've got a new theory with what's going on, because I just heard from Greta, who is the author of the book that Ingrid had signed for her, and who the author of Jules' favorite book is, saying that her parents or grandparents inherited the building, but Nick also stated that his parents and or grandparents inherited the building, the Bartholomew house. So now I'm confused. I'm starting to think that these two are working together and really messing things up for these people who come in and live there. So I'm thinking Jules is probably going to end up getting in trouble soon. and I think she might start piecing it together. Her and Dylan are going to be working together, I feel like, and I'm pretty excited to see where it goes from here. But I'm thinking Greta and Nick are somehow related with each other, and Nick is completely lying about everything. So let's see if I'm right. I still got a good chunk of the book left, so we'll see you in the next one. Alright, I'm on page 303. Spoiler alert, if you don't want to know what's going on, skip ahead like a minute. Don't watch this clip. So, Ingrid is still alive, and Jules is now pretty much figured out the secret of what's going on. There's some like satanic building, and so Nick is in on it, Greta's in on it, I think Charlie is in on it. He doesn't seem like he is, but he could be. And so ideally what they do is they pretty much take in these people and they like offer them like money, like thousands of dollars. It gets like $12,000 to stay here and be like a rental person. And they take them in and they pretty much kill them. But Ingrid escaped, and so she's alive. She finally got in contact with Jules, told her pretty much everything that she knew. The night where she went to go check out that noise and Ingrid was like, oh yeah, nothing's going on, Nick was actually in the room like with her, threatening her, and she maced him and escaped, and she's been gone for like 3 days. She finally found him at a refugee for lost women with the help of a friend named Bobby, who she found there originally, because when she first went missing, she went there and talked to this girl named Bobby and gave her her number and said, if you see this person, call me. And she finally got a call. They went there, they talked, and then she just got back to the house to look for Dylan so they can escape. And Greta was in Dylan's room, and in her room she found Nick. And so they are well aware that she knows what's going on, and now I want to know what's going to happen. So we're going to continue with this. There's probably going to be spoilers throughout the rest of this, so just be cautious treading throughout the rest of this vlog for this one. So we'll see what happens at the end here. Alright guys, so I just finished Lock Every Door. I'm going to be rating all the books at the end of the video, so that way you guys have to wait and see. This was really good. It was comparable, in my opinion, to how good it was to Home Before Dark, in my opinion. I really enjoyed both of them. They both were really good. The ending, I thought it was a weird twist, and I didn't really expect it. I did predict, though, that Nick was going to be an ass, and I was totally right. He was a bad person, and I was happy I was able to predict it. That's 2 books I've been able to predict out of the 50 I've read, so not something to gloat about. But otherwise, I really enjoyed it. It was a really good book. I highly recommend it. Like I said, I'm not going to tell you my star rating yet. I'm going to tell you all of them at the end. I got another Riley Sager coming up next, and we'll see you guys in the next clip. Alright guys, it's a new day, and I'm going to start today off with The Last Time I Lied, which is book number 3 in my Riley Sager reading log. And without further ado, I don't know what this is really about, but the blurb in here says, a young woman returns to her childhood summer camp to uncover the truth about a tragedy that happened there 15 years ago. I mean, that sounds pretty interesting to me, so let's get started. Alright, so I'm on page 100 of The Last Time I Lied, and so far it's been pretty intriguing. The girl, Emma, who went to this camp 13 years ago, is now back. She's a sort of successful artist. She's been selling a few art pieces where she lives, and now the camp where she was at, where a tragic event happened when she went there, she's now like a counselor type person. She's doing like the painting class, and other than that, not a lot else has really come up or happened. She did something bad to 3 girls during that time when she was younger and there, and the story's kind of going back and forth between then and now when she's the counselor, and they're talking about a guy named Theo who happens to be still there, and she, now that she's older, is under the impression that he might have something to do with the disappearance of the 3 girls that she thinks she did something to. At least that's the vibe I'm kind of getting, is that Theo was kind of part of it in some way. The girls that she's bunking with are like half her age, or like 14 or something like that. And so they're asking her questions. They're playing like 2 truths and a lie, and she's like, yeah, my third one is I did something terrible when I was 13. And they're like, oh no, you wouldn't say that. Lo and behold, that is the truth, and we are gonna hopefully find out what it is. I've still got a good chunk of the book left, and so we'll see where we go from here. We'll see you in the next clip. Alright, so I'm on page 180 now, and some weird stuff has been going on. So Vivian, who was one of the girls who disappeared, left a map for Emma, and she ended up going with the 3 girls that she brought with her at the camp. And they get there, and 3 girls are just kind of looking around, and Emma's like, yeah, I've got a map. I'm going to go over here and look for what I need to look for. And she finds a box with a diary in it, Vivian's diary. And she's reading a bunch of entries, and Vivian is like, yeah, I'm back here again at this camp, and she's claiming that some weird mysterious stuff is going on here, and she's going to get to the bottom of it. So now I'm starting to think that maybe she wasn't quite, was not quite as involved with her disappearance, and I'm starting to think the family who's kind of in charge of the camp, Theo is the guy's name, I can't think of the mom's name, but I feel like they might be in on something more complicated and complex. The other theory that somebody said in this is with it being, I'm still getting a feel for how Riley Sager does the books, but I feel like it wouldn't take like that Stephen King route where somebody had mentioned like, yeah, a flood happened over this town and that's what this lake is, and like the spirits of the people are what's taking the campers or whatever. I feel like that would be something that he would do, but I don't think Riley Sager would do. So I feel like that's just a story thrown out to kind of throw you off. I feel like it's with the family. That's the trend I've been noticing so far with the other 2 stories I've read by him. So I'm thinking Theo and his mom. I feel like there's something more sinister going on with just the family aspect of it, not like just the camp itself. So far, I've really enjoyed it, and I'm about at the halfway point, almost exactly at the halfway point, and so we'll see in the next clip. I think theory for right now is Theo and his mom are more part of this than they think, even though Theo is kind of made the thought out to Emma, like, why did you throw me under the bus, you know, this and that, kind of playing like the I'm not guilty game, which to me kind of makes him more guilty. Also worth noting, at some point earlier on, they actually had a camera set up on like the outside of the cabin that Emma was staying in. It was not there when she first got there, and they even told her, like, yeah, we put that there for like you, and I don't remember why they what they explained to her as to why. I don't remember if it was like for protection or like to spy on her, or I don't know. But Theo and her mom and his mom like took her out on like a picnic, and they like explained this to her, and I don't remember it. The narrative changes between 15 years ago and the present in the book, which I think is nice. I wish that they would say like now, because when they say 15 years ago, and then they just start talking about the new people at the camp, like the next chapter, it gets kind of like, okay, well, could you say like now? But otherwise, it's been good, and I'm pretty excited for the rest of this. So we'll see you on the next clip. Oh my god! Yay! Yay! Alright guys, I'm on 285, and some interesting stuff has happened. Back 15 years ago, Emma thought she saw Theo having sex with Vivian, so that's why she threw him under the bus when they were investigating the situation as to why the three girls disappeared. Emma also said that the three girls did come back to the cabin that night, but she locked them out and pretty much told them to F off and like not to come back. And so they left, obviously, and they're missing. Well, now 15 years go by, and the three girls that she was bunking with now are also missing. So everyone's pointing the fingers to her, saying, look, you came back, same thing happened, it's you. And then during a heated moment between Theo and Emma, she tells him up front, I saw you and Vivian having sex in the shower that one night. And he's like, that wasn't me. And she's like confused as all could be. And she's like, well, it had to be you. You're the only guy that was here. And then they remember the groundskeeper. So now, an awakening moment, I want to say the groundskeeper is going to be... It's going to be suspicious. I didn't even think that. So I was wrong on this theory. Nick actually, I think was, not Nick, that was the last book. Theo actually is going to be a good guy. At least I'm hoping so. So, that theory was wrong, for now. But we'll see where it goes. I think they're going to start keeping an eye on the groundskeeper, and they're going to be looking for him now, and maybe they'll find the other three girls from 15 years ago. They haven't really clarified if they're dead or not, so who knows? We'll find out. So let's keep on trucking. Alright, so I just finished The Last Time I Lied, and whoa, this had a pretty nice twist in it. I really enjoyed it. I'm not going to tell you my rankings until the very end. But this was a really good book. I really enjoyed it. So far, Riley Sager has been doing pretty good, and I really am enjoying it. I've got one more left on this Riley Sager reading log. But yeah, the ending had a good twist. Again, I'm not going to spoil the endings for you. But it was a pretty solid twist. It was kind of like a double twist with who ended up being the culprit, with who took the girls and who did it. And then, you know, just the ending itself had a pretty cool twist. Something I don't want to say. So you'll find it out when you read it yourself. Hopefully you do. I really recommend this one. This one was really good, and the last two have been really good. So hopefully we can end on a strong note with the Riley Sager reading vlog. And the next one is, of course, Final Girls, which is the first one he wrote. So obviously we're ending it where he began, and hopefully I can enjoy this one too. Let's find out. We'll get started on it. page 77 of Final Girls, and this has really just not been doing it for me so far. I've been used to the past three where like right away like cool things are happening and it's like already kind of suspenseful, but it's been pretty relatively boring in my opinion. It's been hard for me to kind of get into it and want to stick with the story that's going on. All I've really concluded so far is that there's some kind of like murder thing that happened somewhere, and there's apparently only like 3 survivors, 3 girls that are called the Final Girls, and one of them commits suicide, and so now there's only 2 of them. And one of them got married, she's like a baker, and the other one's I think a fugitive. This has been really hard to keep track with because it's just really not doing anything for me. I'm going to keep going, see if I can get to, like 150, get at least halfway through it, and we'll see if I'm still into it. If I'm not, Final Girls might be DNF. And we'll keep track and we'll let you guys know what happens in the next clip. So far it's been not doing it for me. God, this book, man, I tell you, this book was something different. Okay. Alright guys, so I finished Final Girls. I didn't really do any clips for it because I didn't enjoy the book. It didn't really get going until about 3/4 of the way through. It was, at least for me, I couldn't get into it. Yeah, it was not a good one for me. It's definitely the lowest out of the 4.
I'll do that ranking in just a second. I'll let you know what I think of all 4 Riley Sager books I've read. But yeah, Final Girls, I really couldn't get into it. And I got no idea why. It was just kind of meh, just a story. But I needed more out of it. So I really didn't like Final Girls. He definitely got better, because this was his first one. So he definitely did better from this. But yeah, this was a disappointment for me. But I'll give you my ranking in just a second. But yeah.
Alright guys, I've read all 4 of them now. And now it's time to finally share with you my final rankings on the 4 Riley Sager books. Overall, I think it was a success. I really enjoyed all 4 of them. I enjoyed 3 of them and 1/4 of one of them. So coming in last place is Final Girls. This one took forever to finally get going for me. I really couldn't get into the first like 3/4 of the book, and I almost DNF'd it, but I did it for you guys. I wanted to read it. I gave this 2.5 stars. I couldn't get into it. It was just really slow, way too slow for my liking. But yeah, that's 2.5 stars. Was not the best. So from here it only goes up. Final Girls 2.5. In 3rd place is The Last Time I Lied. I gave this one 4.5 stars. I really liked it. It didn't get that 5-star rating just because at the beginning there was some slow parts and it was kind of not the most enjoyable for me. But overall it was a really good book. So I would give The Last Time I Lied 4.5 stars. Coming in at 3rd place. Coming in 2nd place is Lock Every Door. This one was really good. I wouldn't quite give it that 5-star tier ranking like I did Home Before Dark, but both of them were really good books. This is like 4 3/4, like 4.75. I can't quite give it that 5-star rating just because some of the things that happened in the book I was really upset with, but overall the story itself was just really good. So Lock Every Door in 3rd place with 4.75. And in 1st place, should come to no surprise, Home Before Dark. 5 stars. Really loved the book. Highly recommend all 4 of them. Just beware that Final Girls, in my opinion, takes a little while to get going. So just be ready for that when you do decide to read them, or if you want to read them. Hopefully you do. Hopefully I've inspired you to read Riley Sager. But yeah, overall the journey was pretty good. I think overall, I think it was like a 4-star rating between all 4 of them, maybe 3.75. Otherwise, just Final Girls was just the one dying note for me. I just really couldn't quite get into it. He made good progress with his books, starting with Final Girls, in my opinion, being the worst one, and Home Before Dark the best one. So coming from his first one going up, they just got better, and that pretty much was my ranking. And no, that was not me showing you the order of publication. That was my actual ranking of the books. He did a lot better going up, like progressing forward. So I mean, all of them are good. I recommend it. Hopefully I've inspired you to read them. Just can't wait for 2021 for his 5th book. Alright guys, so that was my video analysis of Riley Sager, what I thought of his books. He's starting to become an author I really enjoy, so I'm hoping we can get some more books out of him. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.